fabled heat, where magic meets desire. Subscribe to ignite the fantasy.
The air tasted like ash and ozone. That was the first thing I noticed. The second was the sheer, unadulterated terror etched on the faces of Leo, Kai, and Maeve. They stared at me, eyes wide, mouths gaping, as if I'd just sprouted horns and wings. What is this?" Maeve finally choked out, her voice trembling. Around us the landscape pulsed, not with life but with something else, something raw, untamed, and deeply unsettling. Jagged obsidian mountains clawed at a sky the color of bruised plums. Rivers of liquid fire snaked through canyons choked with thorny, skeletal trees, and in the distance I could hear it, a chorus of whispers, each one a fragment of a memory, a regret, a fear, my fears. I swallowed hard, the taste of ash coating my tongue. "Welcome to my mind. I don't like it here any more than you do." Their disbelief was palpable. Leo, ever the pragmatist, scoffed. "This is some kind of illusion, right? A really elaborate trick." He reached out, gingerly touching one of the thorny branches. He recoiled instantly, his hand bleeding. "Okay, not an illusion, but what is it?" Kai, usually the stoic one, was pale and sweating. I can feel it. It's you, Elara, this is you." Maeve, always the most intuitive, grabbed my hand, her grip surprisingly strong. How is this possible?" I didn't know how to explain. I'd only discovered it myself a few weeks ago. The magic had always been there, dormant, a sleeping giant within me, but it wasn't the gentle, predictable magic everyone else wielded. Mine was different. Mine was a reflection of my inner self, a raw, unfiltered landscape of my emotions and experiences. "I don't know," I admitted, my voice barely a whisper. "It just happened. I was meditating, trying to focus my magic, and suddenly this." Before I could elaborate, the ground beneath us trembled. A low growl echoed through the canyons, growing louder, closer. Shadows danced in the periphery, coalescing into something monstrous. "What the hell is that?" Leo breathed, his hand instinctively moving to the hilt of the sword strapped to his back. Three figures emerged from the shadows. They were tall, muscular, and cloaked in what appeared to be woven darkness. Their faces were hidden, but I could feel their eyes on me, burning with an intensity that made my skin crawl. "The Sentinels," I said, the name a foreign word on my tongue. "They protect something important within me." The Sentinels attacked without warning. Leo, Kai, and Maeve, trained warriors all, met their assault with practiced ease. Leo's sword flashed, deflecting blows with blinding speed. Kai's earth magic rose up, forming barriers of stone to protect us. Maeve's healing magic mended wounds almost as quickly as they were inflicted. But the Sentinels were relentless. They fought with a ferocity that bordered on madness, their attacks growing more desperate with each passing moment. I watched in horror as Leo was thrown back, his sword clattering to the ground. Kai's barriers cracked and shattered under the force of the Sentinels' blows. Maeve gasped in pain, clutching her arm, blood seeping between her fingers. I couldn't just stand there and watch them get hurt. I closed my eyes, focusing on the raw power that thrummed within me. I reached out with my mind, drawing on the very essence of this landscape, on the fear, the regret, the longing that permeated every inch of it. The ground trembled again, but this time it wasn't a threat, it was a surge of power. The obsidian mountains glowed with an internal fire, the rivers of lava pulsed with renewed intensity, and from the thorny trees blossoms bloomed, fragile and luminescent, casting a soft, ethereal light over the battlefield. I opened my eyes and the Sentinels faltered. They turned towards me, their hidden faces now filled with something akin to reverence. "You have awakened," one of them said, his voice a low rumble that echoed through the landscape. "The heart of the labyrinth recognizes you." "The heart," I echoed, confused. "What heart?" The Sentinel gestured towards a chasm that had opened in the ground before us. At the bottom, a faint, pulsating light emanated from the darkness. "The heart of your being, the source of your power. It has been dormant for too long, now it calls to you." I looked at Leo, Kai, and Maeve, their faces still bruised and bloodied, but their eyes filled with a mixture of fear and determination. "I have to go," I said, my voice trembling. "I have to see what's down there." "We're going with you," Leo said, his voice firm. "Together," Kai added, his eyes locking with mine. Maeve nodded, her grip on my hand tightening. "Always." We descended into the chasm, the air growing thick with the scent of ozone and something else, something sweet and intoxicating. As we reached the bottom, the light intensified, revealing a chamber filled with crystals that hummed with energy. In the center of the chamber, suspended in midair, was a heart, not a literal heart, but a swirling vortex of pure energy, pulsing with a life of its own. It radiated warmth, love, and an overwhelming sense of belonging. As I stepped closer, the heart reached out to me, its energy wrapping around me like a warm embrace. And then it spoke, not with words, but with emotions, with memories, with a sense of destiny fulfilled. It showed me glimpses of my past, of the magic that had been hidden within me since birth. It showed me my future, a future intertwined with Leo, Kai, and Maeve, a future filled with challenges, but also with love, passion, and unwavering loyalty. I saw us fighting side by side, protecting each other, growing together. I saw us sharing intimate moments, our bodies intertwined, our souls connected. I saw us building a life together, a life filled with laughter, love, and a sense of belonging I had never known before. But the vision also showed me the darkness that lurked within the labyrinth, the fears and regrets that threatened to consume me. It showed me the challenges we would face, the sacrifices we would have to make. When the vision faded, I stood there, breathless and overwhelmed. Leo, Kai, and Maeve stood beside me, their faces filled with concern. "What did you see?" Leo asked. I looked at them, my heart overflowing with love and gratitude. "I saw us," I said, my voice thick with emotion. "I saw our future." But before I could elaborate, the chamber began to shake. The crystals vibrated, the heart pulsed with renewed intensity, and a deep voice echoed through the chamber. "You have awakened the heart," the voice boomed, "but the labyrinth is not yet ready to accept you. You must prove yourselves worthy." The ground beneath us cracked, and the chamber began to collapse. We were plunged into darkness, the only light coming from the pulsating heart that floated before us. "What do we do now?" Maeve cried out, her voice filled with panic. "We survive," Leo said, his voice grim. "We find a way out of this hellhole." As we stumbled through the darkness, the voice echoed again, its words chilling us to the bone. "To escape the labyrinth, you must face your deepest fears. You must confront your darkest desires, and you must learn to trust each other, completely and utterly, for only together can you hope to survive." And then silence. We were alone in the darkness, facing an unknown future, with only each other to rely on. But as I looked at Leo, Kai, and Maeve, I knew that we would face whatever challenges lay ahead. We were bound together, not just by fate, but by a love that transcended the boundaries of time and space. And as we ventured deeper into the labyrinth, I knew that our journey was just beginning. A journey of self-discovery, of love, and of ultimate survival. If hangar ending, we pressed on, the tunnels twisting and turning, the air growing thicker with each step. Suddenly, a blood-curdling scream echoed through the darkness, followed by the sickening sound of tearing flesh. We ran towards the sound, our hearts pounding in our chests, and then we saw it. Kai pinned to the wall by a shadowy figure, his eyes wide with terror. The figure raised its clawed hand, ready to deliver the final blow. But it wasn't Kai's terror that froze me to the spot, it was the figure itself. It was me, or at least a twisted, corrupted version of myself, the embodiment of my darkest fears, staring back at me with malevolent glee.